20-3, Colgate with the lead at halftime. Dan Loney along with Tom Crickey back here at Princeton Stadium. A first half that, well, the Princeton Tigers have some work ahead of them. They did move the ball a little bit in that first half. Unfortunately, Tom, were not able to take advantage of 4 Colgate turnovers in the first half. Well, Colgate was able to get the scoring started in this ball game in the first quarter, and it was J.B. Gerald with a nice catch and run.
Great move to the inside, caught a slant pattern, eluded 2 defenders, and took it in for the opening touchdown of the game.
Princeton Tigers did turn the ball over twice in the first half. One of them, a John Veach fumble deep in their own territory, and that set things up here for Jamal Branch.
Yeah, the first play after the turnover, Jamal Branch takes it in for a touchdown. Princeton was able to force their own turnovers, but did not have similar success.
Yeah, the Colgate Raiders turned the ball over 4 times. This interception by Justin Stull was one of the 4. Brought the ball back near midfield, but again, Princeton not able to move the ball. Then an interception by Sam Snyder right down the middle. That's again set up Princeton with pretty good territory down around the midfield. And then the third one, a great play here by Stull, stripping the quarterback Chris Brown.
Yeah, Stull makes the tackle, strips the ball, and recovers himself. But once again, Princeton unable to convert and establish points.
And Colgate was able to set up their next touchdown on a nice interception return there by Antrell Tyson. And then Chris Brown on the corner on a 4th and 1 play was able to find Jamal Branch.
4th and 1, they went with a play-action pass. Princeton was not fooled, but Branch showed some great patience, and then after converting the 4th down, takes this one in for the touchdown.
That is second touchdown of the day, and then Princeton got a little bit of a break as J.B. Gerald fumbled a punt return opportunity, and that set up a field goal for the Tigers' lone points of the first half. And there you see the numbers of the first half, and really the one that really jumps out obviously is the rushing yards. Colgate in the plus side by a good bit. Princeton negative rushing yards in the first half.
Yeah, Princeton was successful last week against Columbia, running the ball with 2 carriers gaining nearly 100 yards, but today they're -4. Colgate's rushed for 126 yards, Jamal Branch with 94 of those, but the things that stand out to me, the first downs, 12-2. Princeton had 2 first downs on their opening drive of the game, have yet to have one since then, and then Colgate's turned the ball over 4 times. Princeton's done a good job of forcing turnovers, but they've only got 3 points on those turnovers. They need to do a better job offensively in the second half here.
The 94 yards by Jamal Branch, we kind of mentioned it before we came back, a kind of a quiet 94 yards because he hasn't had a lot of really long runs. They've basically been in the territory of 4, 5, and 6, except for that 1 touchdown run of 17 yards.
That's right. He's only had 15 carries thus far, and as you mentioned earlier, which I think was a very good point, is that he gets better carries 15 to 30. So yeah. I'd look for him to even further establish himself in the second half. Princeton,
though, did do a very good job towards the end of the second quarter in the fact that after they got that turnover, were able to get points on the board. And Coach Hughes, realizing that he did not want to go into the halftime locker room with no points on the board, took the field goal. And at least Princeton's got some room to work with here now in that they're on the board. They're still down 17 points, a lot of work to do, but a little bit of a confidence boost in that you get those points before half.
Yeah, they came in with some confidence, but I'll tell you, you don't get the sense that they can move the ball against this team. They had a very successful opening drive, a couple long completions. Szymanski dropped a potential touchdown pass in the end zone, then Princeton was stopped on a 4th down conversion, and since that time, the Colgate defense has really risen to the occasion and completely dominated this game.
Derek Javerone will kick it off for Princeton. Colgate will start the third quarter with the ball. Colgate up 20-3. Glad to have you with us here on Patriot 8. And a good high kick coming down to J.B. Gerald at the 8. He's got a lane up the middle, but gets cut off quickly and brings it out to the 25-yard line. Princeton with a good job on the tackle by Brigham Walker, who had a hand in that turnover at the end of the second quarter, leading to the Princeton field goal.
And Princeton special teams have struggled at times this year. They gave up a long return of a punt last week, which resulted in a touchdown. But today, they've had the upper hand. Great punting by McDonough has put Princeton in pretty good position at times. And they've also forced a turnover out of the punt.
Jamal Branch had 15 carries in the first half. Even with a 17-point lead, you would think we would see a little more of him here in quarters 3 and 4. 1st and 10 from the 25. They fake it to Branch. Brown out on the corner. He'll take it himself and gets hit hard out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. Nick Brown and Tim Strickland combining on the stop after a gain of about 7 or 8.
And I think Princeton was expecting Branch because number 56 linebacker Steve Jamison completely lost contain, and the quarterback Brown was able to run to the outside before he was hit hard by Nick Brown, but not before he picked up 8 yards in the play.
So a good start to the third quarter for Colgate. As we mentioned, they outgained Princeton on the ground in the first half, 126 to -4. Here comes Branch on the second down carry, and he's got lots of room down the sideline, 40, 35, 30-yard line. That is a pickup of 38 yards for Jamal Branch, who is well over 100 yards now.
And that was the same play they ran when they had their touchdown in the last possession. They're going to pull both the guard and tackle, and watch the block by number 70. Number 70, Todd Mulligan, creates an opening, and then it's a foot race. Number 36, Nick Brown, had an angle on him and is able to stop him, but not before a pickup of 38 yards in the play.
So now Jamal Branch, 132 yards on the afternoon. Colgate knocking on the door again. They run the option this time. Brown on the keeper gets it down to about the 27.
That's the first time we've seen that all day today. We've seen a lot of rollouts and sprint draws to the running back, but they actually switched to the option right there, making Princeton's job on defense even a bit more confusing.
And when you have an athlete like Chris Brown running the show at quarterback, you can mix in that option every once in a while because he is such a good runner. Second down and 7. Ball just inside the 28. That's J.B. Gerald in motion. Branch left side has room inside the 25, down to about the 22-yard line. It'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down.
And a great job by the Colgate offensive line. They only returned one starter from last year's team, but these guys are pretty nimble for being big guys. On that play, they faked a handoff to the right side, and then once again you had the right tackle and right guard pull. They're athletic enough and fast enough that they can do that. Brings up a 3rd down and 2.
That offensive line for Colgate averaging about 283 pounds across the line, including big 305-pounders Mark Scalafani and Mark Muschel. Here's the 3rd down play. Brown on the corner, and he is going to be dropped. No. Got away from Borelli, but he just throws it out of bounds. Borelli had him very close to a long loss on that one. It'll be 4th down at the 22-yard line.
And his ability to elude that sack and throw that ball out of bounds results in the difference between this being a 39-yard field goal and this being a punting situation. So he was able to extricate himself from the pressure, threw the ball away, and now Colgate brings the field goal unit team on what could have been a 17-yard loss. Now it's a 4th and 2 and results in a 39-yard field goal attempt.
Lane Schwartzberg coming on for Colgate from the left hash. Good kick. Off the post, and it bounces through for the field goal. The old Massey shot there by Lane Schwartzberg puts 3 on the board for Colgate, and it's 23-3.
So once again, Chris Brown's ability to elude a potential sack there gave Colgate another chance and a chance for a field goal, and Schwartzberg puts it up and hits the post and then ultimately through, but creates a 23-3 lead for Colgate, so they are able to get points out of that opening drive.
Schwartzberg last year made second-team All-Patriot, and that's one of the reasons why you make those all-league teams. You get a little bit of help off the upright.
And on special teams today, Colgate's gotten a couple of good bounces. They got a good bounce there off the upright. Earlier there was a punt that appeared to hit one of the Colgate blockers and should have resulted in Princeton possession, but the referees didn't see it that way, so the break's going Colgate's way today.
23-3. So again, Princeton down basically by 3 touchdowns, and they'll send Fields and Veach back, try and get them some good field position.
They've been about the most active guys in the field, the Princeton kick returners.
Mike Raba will kick off.
That drive really set up by the long run by Jamal Branch of 38 yards. It'll be Rava to kick it off for Colgate. And they pooch it down the sideline. That ball's going to be in play, and it is loose. Who's going to go get it? It'll be Princeton to recover it at the 22. That's a great idea by Colgate, obviously not wanting to allow Fields or Veach to try and return it. Fields couldn't get to that ball on the fly, and that's a live ball.
And that was definitely deliberate. I think Fields and Veach had done a pretty good job earlier this afternoon of returning kicks, and that one was looped high in the air but short in front of the return guys and behind the blocking backs. And this is a free ball. It is up for grabs, and it looked like Colgate had two guys who had a potential shot at it.
That's the type of scramble you get on an onside kick.
22.
Which is effectively what that was, a little bit longer, and they don't have the bad field position if they miss that.
1st and 10 from the 22. Princeton will run the option here, and Verbit in trouble, and he'll lose a couple of yards. Back to the 19. Matt Verbit is really not an option quarterback, and they try and run it that time and lose 3 yards.
The guy who was the option quarterback was David Splitoff, and unfortunately for Princeton, he's playing strong safety right now. He was a great option runner. Princeton still has it in their repertoire of plays, but Verbit does not run it very effectively, and he had no shot there. The entire Colgate defense had penetrated the line of scrimmage before that play even got started.
So a 2nd and long for Princeton, 13 yards. Verbit to pass, fires that one, caught. Szymanski has it for a 1st down just past the sticks at the 32. Now that may be the way that Princeton's going to have to go here in the 3rd quarter to try and get back in this game.
Yeah, it's going to have to be. They want to run the ball. They want to establish run and balance, but they can't. They cannot run the ball. Verbit's actually been pretty good when he's had time. He's 9 of 17 on the day, and he's had a couple of drops as well.
You mentioned he has a very strong arm, and he did a nice job of really stepping into that throw and firing out to Szymanski, his 3rd catch of the afternoon. They'll run it with Benson to the right side. On the cutback, picks up about 3 or 4 yards.
It's interesting. Szymanski's actually Verbit's roommate. He's not a dumb guy. When you know who the quarterback is, you want to room with that guy and win over favor whenever you can.
Adam Lehman made the tackle.
Brandon Benson. That 4-yard run is probably one of the longest of the afternoon for the Tigers. Their long is 9 yards by John Veach.
Yeah, before that, Benson had 4 carries for -1 yard, so he gets back to even on the day.
Found in motion. Verbit to pass. Has time. He finds his fullback out across the 40. And a good open field tackle by the cornerback, Will Arnold. Will knock down Bowden just shy of the 1st down.
And I think if Princeton can be successful on 1st down, I think the rest of their play calling becomes much more balanced. It seems like all day on 1st down they either had penalties, holdings, or sacks. And they're always facing 1st and 15, or 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20. Had a decent pickup on 1st down there, and now 3rd and 2. They can do a lot of different things.
Split the wide receivers. The eye set. Morrison in motion. Look for pressure out of Colgate. Verbit to pass. Has Morrison. 1st down. Out near midfield. Good catch there by Blair Morrison. His 3rd grab of the afternoon. And he's kind of been quiet since the 1st quarter when he made that catch crossing the middle on the 1st drive of the game.
You said watch for pressure. Princeton was watching for it. Number 32, Benson, does a great job of standing up the blitzing linebacker. Gives Verbit time. And Morrison makes the catch for the 1st down.
So Princeton at the 49. Play pass. Looking, Verbit steps in. Has a receiver, Morrison, but just out of his reach. Trying to hit Morrison, crossing over the middle. Brian Anderson, the defender on that one, but the pass a little tall.
And there's a penalty flag down once again. And just as I mentioned, Princeton's had mistakes on 1st down. Yet another one, holding called against Princeton. That's going to push him back another 10 yards. Verbit was given plenty of time there, perhaps aided by that holding call.
They really do call holding a drive killer.
Holding on Princeton. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 1st down.
So it seems like some adjustments have been made here. Looks like the referee's made an adjustment to his microphone. We're not hearing the wind like we once did. And Princeton came out with 2 consecutive 1st downs on their opening drive of the 2nd half. But They're going to need to be resilient here and overcome that holding call.
Referee's going to have to put his hands in front of his face, block that wind. 1st and 20, the draw to Benson. He's got some room. Midfield, 45-40, first down, Princeton. What a play call there by the Tigers. They caught Colgate with some pressure, looking for a pass, and they sneak Benson up the middle, who picks up 21 yards.
Yeah, Colgate very aggressive, anticipating pass, came with the pressure once again. And if you're able to break that first line of pressure as Benson was there, then you've got some open running room. And on 1st and 20, they pick up 22 yards.
So here comes Princeton now in plus territory at the 39. Play pass, Verbit, pass is tipped at the line. And I think that was Lookaboo, the linebacker, who may have gotten a piece on it. They were trying to go to Bowden, the fullback, out in the flat.
And if you are not able to pressure the passer, the one thing they always tell you to do is to jump in the air, get those hands raised. And Lookaboo is 6'1", 235 pounds. That's his second knockdown of the game.
And they'll run Verbit out of the shotgun here. A lot of shifting as Princeton's going to send 5 receivers out. That's Fields in motion. Here comes the blitz off the corner. Verbit will take off. 40, 35-yard line. Nice job there by Matt Verbit with a lot of pressure, able to make positive yards on that play. Picks up 4 or 5.
Yeah, he sensed pressure coming from his backside. Blitzing linebacker started rolling to the right. And Verbit in the beginning games of the year fumbled the ball on a number of occasions. You'd like to see him tuck it in, which he does there as he anticipates contact and turns what could have been a negative play into some positive yardage.
Mike Barnes, the safety, came off the corner and for Colgate and given the pressure. And now a more manageable situation at 3rd and a long 5.
And I think Princeton's got 2 downs to try and get that 5.
First down, Szymanski inside the 25 to the 21. And they were able to work him underneath in the middle to get that pass of the first down.
You know, Verbit hangs in the pocket. Colgate comes with a stunt and a blitz. Gives some time, and Szymanski's a big target. He's 6'5", 190 pounds.
4th catch for BJ on the afternoon. He's got 14 on the year. Remember, he's the guy that last year against Colgate caught a 71-yarder to help Princeton to a win. They'll run it with Benson. Hit hard at the line. Falls forward for about a yard. Well, he got stuck just as he came through the line on there, and I think it was Dish, the middle linebacker, may have gotten a piece of him.
I think Dish did. I also think number 67, Jeff Galletley, got a hit on him. But to Benson's credit, despite taking that big blow, he was able to spin out of it and pick up some positive yardage, a gain of about 1 on the play.
That forward momentum of Brandon Benson got stopped in a hurry. 2nd and 9. Princeton with a good-looking drive going here. Probably their best since the opener of the game. Verbit has time in the flat. Bowden makes the catch, but for no gain. Verbit went a little quick on that pass out into the flat there, and it looked like he may have had time to sit back and look over the field before delivering that pass.
And it looked like it was a zone blitz situation where defensive end number 97, Adam Lehman, actually was back in coverage there. And I think you're right. I think if he had been given more time or Verbit let that play develop more, a fullback is going to defeat a defensive end in one-on-one coverage.
Saw Bowden come off the field limping a little bit, and he's on the Princeton bench getting attended to. 3rd down and 9 at the 20. Verbit to pass. He'll roll out. Now comes back the other side. Can he find a man? No. Knocked down at the 28-yard line. Boy, Verbit had some time, but his options closed down in a hurry.
They sure did in a hurry. He broke back to his left side, and then he was really running against his body, and it's very difficult to throw in that situation. As you say, his options closed in a hurry.
4 guys on him, that'll close you in a heartbeat.
His options became punishment and loss of yardage as Lookaboo shows why he is the preseason Defensive Player of the Year pick in the Patriot League. He's a dominant player whose name we've called all afternoon.
He has been all over the field today. So Princeton will go for it on 4th and 15. They got a lot of territory to make up. Here comes the blitz. Verbit pass knocked down at the line. And the Colgate Raiders stop Princeton on that fourth down play. Looked like they were going for Szymanski again, but that's about, I believe, the fourth time today that the Colgate defense has been able to get a defender up in the air to block the pass of Verbit.
Yeah, these guys are very well coached. They come with pressure, but they also know when they're not reaching the quarterback to get up in the air and raise those arms, and they've been successful in knocking balls down, and one resulted in an interception, and that one results in a change of possession as Colgate will take over on first down.
How much of that does the offensive line have to work about keeping those defenders down? I mean, keeping them on the ground.
I mean, you got to be aware of that, and sometimes you got to cut guys to try and do that, but
Branch, a big gainer, but a flag down across midfield to the 40 to 35. This will probably come back. It looked like there may have been a hold on the corner to free Jamel Branch up.
Yeah, I think that will be a hold. Maybe they should have let him keep running to tire him out.
And the thing for Branch is he picked up about 40 yards on that one, but you can erase it from the books. Holding on Colgate. So instead of 1st and 10 at the 34, it'll be first down at about 22, back near the 15.
But I'll tell you, Colgate's had tremendous success attacking the outside right now. They've been pulling guards and tackles and really overwhelming the contain of Princeton.
And we're seeing why people said
from the previous
Jamal
spot.
Branch is a better runner from carry 15 on than he is from 1 to 15.
Yeah, he's taken it up a notch so far in the second half. Unfortunately for him, that one's being called back.
It'd be interesting to take a look at the play sheets from the Colgate games this year to see how many of the yards Jamal Branch has in the second half of games. I'm going to guess it's probably about 60 or 65% of his yards.
He's got a big offensive line, a physical offensive line, and they wear people down as the game progresses, and he's a big guy himself, 225 pounds. And
Branch on the draw, no gain. He is knocked down at the 16. Good job by the defensive line at Princeton to really stand him up. But right now with Colgate holding a 23-3 lead, Colgate can afford to run some time off the clock because they have that 3-score lead.
That's exactly right. As long as they run the ball and stay in bounds, the clock is not going to stop. And every minute that passes brings them closer to a victory here.
Second down and 20 from the 16. Branch the toss to the left side. Has a lane, but cut off. Justin Stull after a gain of about 5. But Jamal Branch just keeps chewing up the yards right now. He's closing in on about 150 yards in the afternoon.
And on that play there, once again, Colgate pulled its guards and tackles, Sclafani and Musone, who were 305 and 263. And as a strong safety, you got to come up and force that play. And imagine coming up being 185 pounds, having to take on Sclafani. It's not a challenge you want to take on.
Not only challenging Sclafani, but then you've got Branch right behind him. Brown to pass it on third down. He has the tight end open, and that is Frazier, and he'll be close to the first down. I think he's going to be about a yard short.
He's just short, and Colgate is sending the punting unit on the field, but Frazier is a 2-time first-team All-Patriot League player. Apparently the pro scouts are looking at him. He catches this ball on a short underneath pass and starts moving forward for a first down. He is tackled by Justin Stull before he can actually get to that point. Stopped about a foot short of the first down.
So Colgate has to punt it away. Jason Sutton, only a third time, and a late man coming on the field, Jared Nepa.
They punt the ball so infrequently, he's not used to going out there.
And he's the signal caller out there. He was late. High kick. Fields has it at the 30. Makes the first man miss. Now some yards. 35, 36-yard line. So we'll pick up about 5 on the return. And Princeton with good field position with 3:30 to go in the third quarter. But the Tigers have to get some points on the board.
Yeah, Princeton had a great drive to open up the second half, but they did not attain any points. It seems as though they made some adjustments at halftime, which were beneficial. But once again, you need to get points.
It's almost like the Colgate defense right now plays the bend but don't break philosophy. Give the yards between the 30s, but once that team gets into your 30, then you really tighten down on them.
Right, as long as they can avoid the big play, they're not going to get hurt here.
So here come the Tigers. Verbit to pass. He's looking, firing, has Szymanski open, just off his fingertips. Boy, that would have been a pretty catch there by BJ on that one, but just out of his reach.
And what that was a two-deep zone defense where you have safeties playing their halves of the field. He got behind the cornerback with the underneath coverage, and Szymanski a lot of times will make that play. He got between number 36, Will Arnold, and the safety, Sean McCune. Went up high, was unable to hang on to that ball, but that was pretty accurately delivered by Verbit.
So it's 2nd down and 10 from the 36. Benson the carry with men in front of him. To the corner, has yardage. 1st down, midfield into Colgate territory at the 48. Good run there by Brandon Benson.
Very good run, and Benson's coming off his biggest game as a Princeton Tiger. Last week he had 102 yards and 2 touchdowns against Columbia, and showing a real aggressive running style here, running very, very hard with power, and picked up the 1st down there. He's been a guy who has tremendous talent, has frustrated the coaches at times. He's been injured quite a bit. His play has been inconsistent, but in the last 2 weeks, it's been pretty formidable.
He had Jeremy Moore and Kevin Manning leading the way on that one.
He had them leading the way, but he passed them pretty quickly.
True. 1st and 10. Verbit will look to throw. Pass tipped and incomplete. That ball was thrown behind Mike Giussano, tight end. He had Giussano open for good yardage, but the pass was behind him.
This one was behind. A couple of Verbit's earlier attempts were dropped that were delivered on the money. This one was behind Giussano, and he tipped that ball up in the air, and that almost resulted in an interception.
So it's 2nd down and 10 for the Tigers. Morrison coming in motion, and they will give it to Benson off the right side. 45, 43-yard line, but he gets stuck in a hurry by Ainsworth Minot after a gain of about 5.
Yeah, Minot came up from his free safety position, and he had a running start, probably a 15-yard running start coming from where he was back as a free safety, and delivered a knockout blow here. So he'll come flying into your screen right now. Good tackle, put the head in front of him, wrapped up, and that was textbook.
Anytime you see the helmet of the running back snap back like that, you can tell that was a big stick. 3rd and 5 at the 42. Quick drop. Pass tipped and picked off. It's the linebacker, Ryan Dish. That ball again tipped at the line. That tip drill coming in big again. 3rd turnover of the game by Princeton. But again, the key was a tip at the line.
I think it was tipped by number 44, Matt Spack, who's a backup defensive end, but that's the 2nd interception that's come. Yeah, there's Spack right there. He was being blocked, he was engaged, was able to raise his left hand and tip that ball, and it resulted in another interception.
So Colgate holds again. We have had a total of 7 turnovers in this game. Brown on the roll on 1st down, looking deep, has a receiver open, incomplete, intended for Graham, who was open at the 15, and a flag thrown in the backfield all the way back at the 32-yard line.
It looks like the flag is going to be against Princeton, perhaps unnecessary roughness or roughing the quarterback. But Graham was wide open, and that ball was fairly accurately delivered. He didn't seem to make the appropriate adjustment. The ball was kind of out in front of him, but he should make that catch, and typically he does.
The penalty was roughing the passers, so Colgate's going to get a 1st down out.
Roughing the quarterback. Princeton, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
Perhaps some frustration showing up on the part of the Princeton Tigers. That defense has been on the field throughout the course of the day. They've done a better job in the 2nd half, as we're going to take a replay. Let's see if we can see the roughing.
And you know what? I'm wondering if he called the helmet-to-helmet contact right there, because it looked like it was pretty close that Justin Stull made the contact up around the shoulders of the quarterback, Brown.
And then the very end, you saw Luke Graham had beaten the freshman cornerback Strickland, but unable to hold on to the ball.
Here comes Jamal Branch on the first down carry. He'll pick up about 5.
Jamal Bryant.
Now this Colgate Ball Club ranked number 19 in 1AA with a perfect 5-0 mark.
Yeah, they're ranked 19th, and you think given their record and the fact that they've won 11 straight games, they might be ranked higher. But I think you got to look at their opposition so far. The opposition is only 4-18, so they've got the difficult part of their schedule emerging as they continue to face greater Patriot League opponents.
Second down. This will be a carry for Ben Evans. First time we're seeing him this afternoon. Short gain, maybe a yard.
And Ben Evans, I guess, is apparently the biggest surprise in the spring and summer camp this season for Colgate. He was playing for the JV team last year, and now he's with the varsity starting. He's the lead blocker for Jamal Branch, 5'11", 233 pounds. Kind of an unheralded guy, but obviously doing a good job with the numbers that Branch is putting up.
He's the definition of the fullback. You got to give him a carry or two every game because
feed the beast.
Evans going into play today, 14 carries. Jamal Branch at 123. Here comes Branch. He'll surge ahead for a couple of yards. He's close to the sticks for a first down. Going to be about a half yard short.
Yeah, appears to be short, but this is a real lengthy field goal, and I think Colgate's objective is to keep the clock moving, to keep the chains moving, so I think they likely go for it here.
Fourth down and about a half yard. And the offense staying on the field for Colgate.
Yeah, they bring in a second tight end, number 87, Andrew Oladipo.
Good job by you.
Yeah,
I didn't want to get near it.
As soon as I saw what I was saying, I'm like, I made a mistake here.
Fourth and short. Here comes Branch. To the outside. He'll be close to the sticks. Looks like he may have just gotten it by about a yard.
Great effort by Blake Perry, a strong safety who's been injured. With one arm, was able to pull Branch down.
Had him by the shirt tail. They're going to measure to see if this is a first down or not. They had to get it just to the 32-yard line, and it looks like the ball is spotted at about the 31.5.
Yeah.
So with our great vision up here high atop Princeton Stadium, we'll say he's got it by about a half a football. Yeah, maybe by a full football.
Yeah.
So Colgate will keep the drive going. And they will be, with 3 seconds left, starting the fourth quarter with the ball in Princeton territory. And they will not have to run another play here in quarter number 3. So through 3 periods of play, Colgate has the lead, 23-3. They had the only points of the quarter on a field goal. Back with fourth quarter action in just a moment.
Princeton Suns are back again into the Tigers' den once more. Back with the class and back with the Nas used to stand in days of yore. They come back from far and near, back to Princeton every year to cheer once more for old Nassau. With the Tigers, sis boom ba.
I'm a student.
I'm a mother.
I'm a marathon runner.
I'm a singer.
I'm a graphic designer.
I'm a football fan.
I'm a hard worker.
I'm a gardener.
I'm a dad. I'm a dog owner.
I'm an avid reader.
I'm a golfer.
I'm a sports fanatic.
I'm a dancer.
I'm a husband. I'm a handyman.
I'm a patriot.
I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot.
I'm a patriot.
I am a patriot.
I'm a patriot.
These are just some of the 150 people who power Patriot Media, the newest cable TV provider in New Jersey. And thanks to new technology and people like this, we are working to build a new network which will offer 200 channels, which means you have the freedom to watch what you want, no matter what you're into. For more information on when your area will go digital, visit www.patmedia.net. To upgrade your service, call 1-866-PAT-1776 today. Thank you for being a Patriot.
Dan Loney, Tom Crickey back with you here at Princeton Stadium. Fourth quarter just underway. Jamal Branch, a first down run for about 4 yards. And here is that first play of the fourth quarter.
The freshman defensive back number 20, Tim Strickland, does a good job and stays low. Avoid that big collision, take those legs out, and live to fight another play.
Brown to pass, has it to Freezer, excuse me. He is open and inside the 15 down to about the 12-yard line. John Freezer, the senior tight end, will move the chains for Colgate. And when you have a big guy like that who can catch the ball and then turn it upfield and gain some yards, that's a pretty good weapon to add to your arsenal.
Yeah, he did a good job of finding the soft spot in the zone and eluded the defense of number 43, Justin Skull. And then after catching the ball, worked his way downfield for the first down.
Here comes the blitz for Princeton. Branch on the carry. He's at the 10, the 5, touchdown. Jamal Branch, his third of the afternoon. He'll go in from 12 yards out, and Colgate now up 29-3. Once the first defender missed, Jamal Branch had an open lane to the end zone.
He had an open lane, and he had a blocker in front of him. I believe it was number 66, Charles Yalovitzer, who shoved his opposing defender out of the way and paved the way for the touchdown by Branch.
Branch, 3 touchdowns on the afternoon, now with 12 on the year. And the extra point by Schwartzberg is up and good. So on the first play of the fourth quarter, the Colgate Raiders have extended their lead. It is now 30-3 over the Princeton Tigers. And we talked about how good Jamal Branch is late in games, and this is a perfect example of it on the run here by Branch for his third score of the day.
Yeah, this epitomizes him. Speed, strength to break a tackle, as we saw right there, and then just takes it in. Once again, he's got guys pulling in front of him, and that's the tackle that's got to be made right there. Number 43, Justin Skull, has got to make that tackle. He was wide open, missed the tackle, and then once Branch gets in the secondary and has some blockers in front of him, he's going to take that in every time.
23 carries, 164 yards for Jamal Branch this afternoon, as Colgate now has run the ball for 207 yards here this afternoon.
And this was a Princeton team that was only giving up on average 105 yards rushing a game. So Branch is going to exceed his average for the season, which is 157 yards coming in. And unfortunately for the Princeton defense, they've reached their average. They've averaged nearly 30 points in every game they've played this year, and they're at that number right now.
So the Tigers with a long road to hoe in a short time, down by 27. That ball going back into the end zone, and Veach will down it. And Princeton will have it 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Princeton offense hasn't moved the ball as well today as they have in prior weeks, mainly because, as we mentioned early on, Princeton, even though they're 0-3, have outgained their 3 opponents in yardage so far in this season. But today, 339 yards for Colgate, 138 for Princeton.
And the fact that Princeton outgained their opponents was perhaps a little bit misleading, because they'd fallen behind so significantly to Lafayette and Lehigh that a lot of those yards were kind of empty yards against a prevent defense at the end of a game. But offensively, they typically have moved the ball fairly well, but today they have not been able to run the ball. They've had some success throwing it, but Colgate's done a great job of knocking passes down at the line of scrimmage and forcing turnovers.
Morrison comes in motion, and the play clock ran out. Boy, that'll kind of typify the afternoon here for Princeton on 1st and 10 from the 20. Their first play of the drive.
Delay of game.
Delay of game penalty.
Yeah, that's not good. It's the first play of the drive, so there's no confusion about signaling plays under personnel, because you're all going out together, and that's something that's got to be on Matt Verbit right there. He's got to get those guys up to the line of scrimmage, and that's inexcusable And once again, Princeton starts out with a 1st and long. They penalize themselves consistently throughout the course of the day.
Eric Walls, the freshman wide receiver, is split wide to the right. Verbit to pass on 1st down. Underneath has Morrison across the 25, the 30, and a nice dive ahead to the 33-yard line. And a pickup of about 17 yards on that one for the 1st down. Blair Morrison with his 4th catch of the afternoon.
And Princeton going into a no-huddle offense right now. Verbit calling plays at the line of scrimmage. You get a look at Morrison cutting across, making the catch and picking up a 1st down.
1st and 10 underneath to Veach, and he'll pick up about 8 yards.
And you can see Matt Verbit, he's got a wristband on that has a number of plays on there that coincide with the plays to be called. Princeton coach is calling them in from the sidelines, and he relays that to his teammates.
2nd and 2. Verbit has Szymanski ahead for 1st down yardage to midfield. Well, I would imagine we're going to see probably about 99% pass for Princeton the rest of the way.
And the one thing this no-huddle offense does is it eliminates some of the personnel changes that Colgate might typically make. They don't seem to be applying the same amount of pressure they were in the past, although it looks like they're only rushing 4 guys and going back into a zone.
Verbit to pass, out into the flat to the tight end John Decker. And he will be knocked out of bounds at the 45. John Decker, good-looking tight end, 6'5" sophomore, 240 pounds from Greenfield, Wisconsin. His first start was first game of the year against Lehigh, and he had 3 catches for 81 yards.
Yeah, he's kind of the prototype tight end in terms of his build, 6'5", 240. He actually plays for the Princeton basketball team as well, where Matt Verbit is one of his teammates. So these guys will carry on playing together right through March.
Verbit rolling out to the left side, now steps up, fires downfield for Clinton Wu, but well over his head.
I think Verbit was hoping that when he was struggling and scrambling right there that Wu might break the pattern downfield. He didn't. The ball was well overthrown.
That Princeton basketball team is going to get practice started in another couple of days.
That's true. We got Midnight Madness. I'm not sure they do that at Princeton, but other places they do.
Next Friday is the first, or actually Saturday is the first day of practice.
Basketball is almost becoming a fall sport.
Down the sideline, Szymanski, intended for him, incomplete. Pressure in the backfield by Jared Nipa. The linebacker really hit Matt Verbit hard. That pass just out of the reach of Szymanski.
And Princeton sending the punting team in. Verbit and Szymanski have nearly, and I say nearly, completed a number of passes, but you can see Verbit just got that off before he was hit by Nipa, who was in the nickel and dime package for Colgate. So Princeton down 30-3. Looks like they're going to punt it here. No harm in not going for it.
Colin McDonough to boot it away. And he spins one down towards the corner. It'll go out of bounds, I think, inside the 20. They're going to mark it up the sideline. And it'll be spotted out of bounds at the 17. Princeton Tigers now go back on defense, down 30-3. And it'll be interesting to see if Colgate
keeps the starters.
Keeps the starters in. There you see Dave Splitoff, who is coming into the ball game, and it looks like he'll be in there the rest of the way. And it is the first unit to come back out onto the field for Colgate. Colin McDonough, a young man, a freshman punter who, when you come in as a freshman and you're leading the Ivy League in punting, you're certainly doing everything right. There's no butterflies, it looks like, with him.
No, I guess from a position standpoint, if you're a freshman, that's the one thing that's probably most comparable to what you were doing in high school. I mean, you're fielding it. I mean, everything moves a little bit faster, but he's done a great job. He's the #1 punter in the Ivy League, was the Special Teams Player of the Week for his performance in the Lehigh game, and that has been one aspect of Princeton punting game this season that has been superior to their opponents.
Branch will get it on the first down carry. He picks up a couple of yards, getting it across the 20 to about the 21, gain of about 3. Right now, they can just go with Jamal Branch left, Jamal Branch right, Jamal Branch up the middle.
And those all result in the same thing. Jamal Branch for 4, 5, 10, or even more yards per carry.
He is closing in on another 200-yard afternoon. Has 168 yards right now. 2nd down and 6. They'll look to pass it. Chris Brown down the middle. Pass intended for Graham, but too tall for him. Tim Strickland, the freshman cornerback, on the coverage. That'll be 3rd and 6.
And as I look at this Colgate team, I mean, they're very, very strong defensively. They're ranked 8th in 1AA. They run the ball, obviously, better than anybody else in the country. This passing game does appear a bit suspect to me, though. This guy is a bit inaccurate, Chris Brown. He's overthrown a number of receivers, had some interceptions, and as they look at their ability to win the Patriot League, which they're leading right now, and then to potentially advance in the 1AA playoffs, that's going to be one area they're going to need to be better at, is my sense.
3rd and 6. Brown on the rollout. Pass caught. Nice hands there by Gerald. And he will have the 1st down out at the 30-yard line. Hey, what? That pass game for Colgate every once in a while really shows that they're pretty good. Right. And that guy, J.B. Gerald, pretty good pair of hands that he's got. He's made 3 or 4 excellent catches on his fingertips there today.
He's bordered on spectacular at times today and makes another great catch again once there. The best thing about he and Luke Graham, their 2 top receivers, are only juniors, so they'll be back next season as well.
As is Jamal Branch, the tailback. Branch on the 1st down carry. He will go ahead for about 3 yards. Dragged down out of bounds by Steve Jamison. Jamison, the senior linebacker from Northville, Michigan. Again, he kind of got a hold on him and just kind of bulldogged him down here.
Yeah, he was thankful that the sidelines was nearby as a 12th defender. Yeah, this guy's he's a real horse.
25 more carries here for Jamal Branch. He'll probably be over 30 by day's end. Well, they'll give it to the fullback, Guglielmotti. And nothing much for him on that one as the D-line really came through hard. Joe Weiss was one of the guys in on the stop, along with Jeff Mixie, defensive tackle.
Joseph Weiss made the tackle.
And about a loss of a yard on that play. So it's 3rd down and 8.
3rd and 8.
So Colgate's going to go to 6-0 most likely, and 5 of those games you mentioned have been on the road. They've got one more Ivy League opponent. They play Yale at home next weekend, and then they take on the bulk of their Patriot League schedule. But to play 5 away games and to be 6-0 at the start of the season is really some accomplishment.
Pass incomplete, in and out of the hands of Luke Graham, who was right near the 1st down yardage. Got the ball in and out of his hands, and Colgate's going to have to punt it away. But they love to run that little half roll to get Brown out into a good passing lane.
It gets him into a passing lane. One, he has no defenders in between him. It also limits the decisions he has to make. He knows who he's throwing it to. He also seems to be more accurate when he's running and throwing the ball on the run than when he's just dropping straight back.
Jason Sutton to kick it away. High hanging kick. Fields has to come up. Takes it at the 42 on the fair catch. A short kick there by Jason Sutton, only 26 yards.
And that was a good job by Fields, because that's a punt which oftentimes you'll see punt returners let that go, and then that could bounce forward for positive yardage for Colgate. But he aggressively pursued that punt and was able to catch it with defenders right around him.
So the Tigers offense, which has had kind of an up and down day here, come back out onto the field. Matt Verbit, who was right around 50% completions on the afternoon, but for about 130 yards today. They'll run the draw to Benson up the middle. Good yardage for Brandon. 1st down and a little bit more across midfield to the 46. Give him a gain of 14.
He's probably been the best-looking Princeton player on the field today. It's like when he catches, when he runs the ball, like everything's gone fast motion all of a sudden. His speed is superior to everyone else around there.
1st down.
1st down for the Tigers. Verbit to throw on 1st down. steps into the ball. Clinton Wu incomplete. Knocking it down was the cornerback Will Arnold. That's a tough pass to complete, because there were two defenders back there, and they were sandwiching Clinton Wu.
Yeah, he was double covered in the Colgate defense. One thing they're not going to allow right now is a big play. They're not going to let any receivers get behind them. As you'll take a look at this pass to Wu, and he was sandwiched, as you mentioned, and the ball nicely knocked down.
And then he got sandwiched himself by Ainsworth Munnett, who came across and hit him hard. 2nd down and 10. Verbit, little half-roll shuttle pass to Veach. Good yardage here. 30 down to the 29 and a first down for Princeton. First time we've seen that little shuttle pass used for the Princeton Tigers, and they were able to pick up good yardage.
And Verbit sells this well. He hangs on to the last second, threatening that defensive end, which really enables that play to go.
First down.
And then Veach is 15 yards downfield before he encounters any defenders.
Verbit, pass incomplete. He was going for Szymanski, but Szymanski cut the pattern off, went to the sideline, and that one deep and out of the end zone.
And that was obviously an option pattern by Szymanski. He had the choice to either break that on an out pattern or take it into the end zone. He chose out. Verbit threw to the end zone. Miscommunication between those guys there, as you saw Verbit kind of gesturing to Szymanski with his hand that he thought he should take that upfield.
A lot on the shoulders of that young man running the show for the Princeton Tigers this year. Blitz coming. Pass caught. Szymanski, can he break away? No, but he'll have the first down at about the 19-yard line. B.J. Szymanski with his 6th catch of the afternoon.
And a good tackle by McCune. He was out there in one-on-one coverage, and when you blitz and apply pressure, you better have good tacklers in the secondary, because if he missed that tackle, that was a touchdown.
Princeton Tigers trying to put their first touchdown in the end zone here this afternoon, have it at the 19. Verbit, he's in trouble, has to go on his own. That'll be knocked down at the 25-yard line. Great job defending what was going to be a shuttle pass.
They were burned by it the first time, but the second time they were ready for it as they were looking to run that same shovel pass here. Actually, the intended receiver was never able to get there as Colgate held him up at the line of scrimmage. And then Verbit had to abandon that play. He tried rolling to the right side, but was stopped for a loss.
2nd down. Pass tipped at the line and knocked down. Boy, we've seen that quite often this afternoon. And it'll be 3rd down for Princeton.
That's at least the 4th or 5th time that we've seen that. And Verbit's, got decent size for a quarterback. He's 6'2". They're obviously bigger players out there, but this pressure, they're blocking the passing lanes, they're knocking down balls, and twice they've intercepted balls on tip passes.
I would imagine that happens a lot more when you're running the patterns that Princeton is, when they're trying to get those receivers over the middle.
Exactly right. They're running a lot of short patterns, a lot of slant patterns, and Verbit's taking a quick drop, which also makes that more likely to happen as well.
3rd down and 14. Verbit over the middle, has Morrison, but for a short gain to the 20-yard line. And Princeton, no doubt, will go for it on 4th down here. Down 30-3.
And the tackle on that play made by number 2, Sean McCune, who's been a 4-year starter for Colgate. In fact, his brother was the starting quarterback for Colgate the last couple seasons. Last year, he ruptured his spleen in a game, and that resulted in Chris Brown being given his opportunity to start. He started the last 4 games last year and is about to have his 9th straight win as a starter.
4th and 12. Here comes the blitz. Verbit steps up, has his arm hit, and that ball will fall uncaught. And it'll be turned over on downs to Colgate. Verbit was trying to go into the corner, but he had his arm hit just as he released the ball.
Yep.
Ryan Dish, the linebacker, coming through again. Boy, between Dish and Lukabu, they have made probably about a dozen or maybe a dozen and a half plays in this ball game here today.
And this poor guy, he's been under pressure all day long. Really getting blitzed. When he's had time, he's delivered the ball accurately. They were not able to run the ball effectively. They got down early. They became predictable, were forced to pass, and that's a situation the Colgate defense has preyed upon.
Jamal Branch on the 1st down carry.
Jamal Branch
Gets it across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. Short gain, and 8:16 to play in this ball game. Tom, you mentioned Colgate going to go to 6-0. Princeton will be at 0-4, and this may be the toughest of the 4 games they have had in terms of the way they have played.
Yeah, I think, obviously last week they could have and probably should have won that game against Lehigh and Lafayette. I think the coaches saw good things. I mean, they made some mistakes, but they saw some good things, and at times they outplayed those opponents. But today this has been a pretty one-sided affair throughout.
Jamal Branch on the carry. Good running across the 30 to the 32. Boy, it looked like 2 or 3 Princeton Tigers were going to bring him down for no gain, but the shiftiness of Jamal Branch got him a first down and more.
And, I think that the intent was after this game, Princeton was getting ready for what they termed, a 6-game season, a 6-game Ivy League season. But now they're going to be the 0-4. No Princeton team in the history of Princeton football has started a season 0-4. So they can't have great confidence, going into the rest of the season the way they played here today.
Well, when you think with some of the injuries and players lost, this has been a little bit of a tough start for Princeton this year. First down carry by Branch, and he'll pick up 4 yards to the 38.
And obviously there have been some losses. They lost for academic reasons 3 players, 3 top defenders. Their leading tackler, first-team All-Ivy linebacker Zach Kesey. Their leading interceptant last year, and Jay McCarron's and a great defensive back in Brandon Mueller. All those guys were all Ivy players, and they've had to replace them with freshmen and sophomores. And these guys are learning. They've got a steep learning curve, but the team is still making a lot of mistakes. I think they feel confident for the future, but this is Roger Hughes' 4th season. He's got his own players in there, and people are looking for victories to start emerging here.
Jamal Branch, no gain. In fact, he's going to lose a yard or 2 on that one. As the D-line at Princeton really bows up on that one and shuts him down in a hurry. Steve Jamison was in there. He made the first contact, and then the rest of the D-line closed the door. Well, you don't need to be flying home to Hamilton, New York, but Colgate's going to be flying high, no doubt, with a win here today at Princeton.
And you don't need to go to the air when you got a guy like Branch on the ground. How many more ways can we hit that one?
Yeah, exactly. Pass is caught by Gerald, and he'll have the first down. Juggling catch by J.B. Gerald out at the 45. And Colgate able to keep the clock moving with 5.5 to play in this game. Even though Colgate hasn't passed the ball for a whole lot of yards, Chris Brown, when called on, has been effective. And even though he's been picked off twice, he has made some big passes along the way, and Gerald has really picked him up. Jamal Branch, spin move, able to get a yard. That is the 30th carry of the afternoon for Jamal Branch, who has 188 yards this afternoon.
And I'm actually surprised they're keeping these guys in there at this point in the game, unless they're just trying to make sure he wins the 1AA rushing title. Because there's limited upside. You just got a potential for injury or fatigue emerging here, because they've got this game in hand as the clock is inside of 5 minutes now.
3 straight games in which Jamal Branch, who just checks out of the game, will have at least 30 carries. He'll finish the afternoon with 188 yards. Now they will hand it off to Joe Pinion, who was a 1,000-yard back for Colgate in his career. And he stepped in for Branch in the season opener against Georgetown and ran for 132 yards. Short gain for him.
And I think the one thing Colgate, their head coach Dick Biddle said the one thing what we like to do is find out who our tailback is and stay with that guy and go with that guy all season. And obviously Branch has emerged in that position. Princeton has yet to establish a dominant running back. They still continue to rotate players in Benson, Veach, and Fields.
By the way, Jamal Branch now at 975 yards on the season. Just shy of 1,000. Pinion on the carry, big hole up the middle. Spins for the first down at the 45. So Joe Pinion, really no slouch, bringing him into the ball game, able to pick up about 10 yards. And it's funny when you you talk about Pinion, I mean, we mentioned about how he has had a good career for Colgate. And he's got to sit behind Jamal Branch, who's just the workhorse right now. Not going to get a whole lot of playing time, but when you do, you got to make the most of it. And it's 1st and 10 for the Raiders at the 45. The run for Pinion to the left side. Nice play, though, by Dave Splitoff. Former quarterback, dragging that one down. Seems a little weird saying that, doesn't it?
It's really weird. If, you know, for Princeton fans, you've watched this guy at quarterback over the past 3 seasons, and he's been a great quarterback. And in fact, this year, if he had played as he was expected to at quarterback, 800 yards, and he'd have been the second all-time leading passer at Princeton. But the toughness you saw as a quarterback, you're seeing on the defensive side now as he made a nice tackle there.
Everything you hear about Splitoff is that he's such a great natural athlete. That's why he can play in the secondary. They even talked about him putting him in at wide receiver for a while.
Yeah, they wanted to get him on the field with this young, inexperienced team. They want guys who are battle-tested, and he's obviously a guy who's been in tough situations and responded well. And it's interesting, coming out of high school, he was actually the co-defensive player of the year in his high school conference, and he was recruited more as a defensive back by other teams than he was as a quarterback.
Mike Saraceno, you see there, is checked in at quarterback, so Chris Brown is done for the afternoon. And Brown had an effective day. Didn't run for a whole lot of yards, but as we mentioned, had some big completions along the way. A lot of them to J.B. Gerald. He tried to get that play off, but the play clock ran out.
Leg on the field.
And a few words between a couple of the players out there.
Yeah, some frustration on Princeton's part. Not to, anytime there's a little conflict, I'm sure the Colgate guys are just pointing to the scoreboard. That's all they need to do to settle any arguments on the field.
But the flag is going to be against Colgate because of the delay of game. Unless a second flag was thrown on that.
Well, the one thing, there was a Princeton defender. I guess it is against Colgate, but Princeton was trying to take off their defensive end, Joe Weiss, and he definitely had not gotten out of bounds by the time that ball was snapped. But I guess the 25-second clock had expired.
There are 2 dead ball penalties on the play. The first penalty is delay of game on Colgate, 5-yard penalty.
And the second?
Here's the
personal foul, face mask infraction against Colgate. Both
There's the
penalties
penalty, and there you see the face mask, and the face mask was on Ben Evans, who grabbed a hold of Alan Borelli and just yanked his head around. And that's why they threw the personal foul penalty. So Colgate loses 20 yards on that exchange right there.
And Evans is taken off the field, and I'm sure being scolded on the sidelines right now.
Dick Biddle has got his attention in a hurry on the sideline. Pinion runs it up the middle on the draw, out to the 45 and out the 46, 47 yard line. On 3rd and 33, picks up about half of it. You're a former football player. What plays do you have in the playbook for 3rd and 33?
Well, I'll tell you, when it's 3rd and 33 and you're winning 30-3, you keep it to your running plays.
Other Ivy League scores today. Penn held on, beating Bucknell today, 14-13. Yale's winning over Dartmouth 33-17. Harvard shutting out Cornell 27-0.
So you still got 3 teams in the Ivy League that are undefeated in Yale, Penn, and Harvard. Penn lost their...
Joe Pinion over there on the sideline was really frustrated about something a moment ago. And look at him. He is out at the far end of his bench, not talking to anybody.
I think he just realized his opportunity to carry the ball today might be over, because this game's going to end, and then he's going to have his man Jamal Branch back in there come next Saturday.
Sutton kicks it away. Beautiful spiraling kick. Fields back at the 14. Up the right side, looking for a hole to the 25 and the 26. With a minute to play in the ball game, one more chance for Princeton to try and get a touchdown.
And Princeton's putting their second unit in as well right now.
So coming on is going to be the freshman quarterback, Chris Lee, for the Princeton Tigers.
Yeah, Lee is listed as second on the depth chart. I think if Matt Verbit ever went down, Princeton would put David Splitoff back in, although with his tendonitis in his throwing shoulder, it would be very difficult for him to complete any passes, but Lee is just too young and too inexperienced to run this offense.
Greg Fields is the tailback, and he'll get it on first down. No, I'm sorry, that's not Fields. Getting the carry is Aaron Ellerby, and he'll have first down yardage out to about the 38. So Aaron Ellerby getting the call.
He went with the second string offense and the fourth string tailback.
I needed to go a little further on the depth chart. See, I only prepared for 3 deep. 45 seconds to go. Trying to see if the youngsters on this Princeton club can get something going, and the flags come down. Little laundry on the field. Need some motion in the line.
And offsides, yeah, these guys aren't used to playing, excited to be out there.
Dead ball.
Too early.
False start. Princeton. 5-yard penalty. Still.
The other 2
first down.
games of interest for fans in the Delaware Valley. Villanova held on at Rhode Island, winning 21-17 today. And Delaware, who was trailing the whole game at New Hampshire, won 22-21.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to see Delaware earlier this year, and they're darn good.
Ellerby on the carry. Surging ahead with a little help. Gets about 4 yards. The other game involving an Ivy League team, Brown, losing in the 4th quarter to Fordham, 24-21. And with under 10 seconds to play, we might have one more if they can get it off. 3, 2, 1, and that is it. So the Raiders of Colgate come into Old Nassau and will leave with a 30-3 win. For the Princeton Tigers, they just, except for that first drive of the afternoon, Tom really couldn't get it going offensively because of the great pressure by the Colgate defense.
Yeah, Princeton was successful, not successful because success equals points, but they moved the ball in their first drives in the first half and second half. But after that, they were dominated defensively by a very aggressive Colgate team. And then Colgate did a great job doing what they do best, and that's running the ball. Jamal Branch with another big game today, and Colgate wins their 6th game of the season, their 12th straight game.
188 yards on the afternoon for Jamal Branch, leading the way for Colgate. We'll come back to Princeton and wrap things up here in just a moment here on Patriot 8.